in-betweens of my fingers are so itchy. Oh my god. Hi girls, hello, welcome back to Rough as Rats with me. Still me, but looking 11,000 times better than you've seen me in the past. Oh, I don't even know how long, like a while, because I got my hair done yesterday. So now I have my superiority complex back. Because that was kind of out the window for a bit. Not for any real particular... Well, actually, I did feel a bit chop suey. Which... Oh, my God. In Glasgow, James dropped chop suey. Oh, I'm going to burp. Also, I'm hoping... I'm going to out myself here, but I'm hoping you can't really tell from how far away you are that I have not brushed my teeth this morning. Because... I'm sorry, I know it's kind of grim, but like, oh my god, I've just remembered I have no life savings. Ooh, ciao. Anyway, like, I'm having a Dr. Pepper. I know it's also 1 p.m, so I should have brushed them by now, but I got up and then I had some crumpets for breakfast because the crumpets were reduced to 60p. I'm sorry, is that not like, that's crazy. That's crazy, like, low. That's great. And like, I love crumpets with like an obscene amount of butter. I don't even think it's real butter. What is the black butter I use? It's the yellow one. Is it called Clover? What is it called? It's like spread. Let me look it up. Clover butter. Oh, this is not where I was supposed to be going with this. Yeah, it's called Clover. Okay. God, that really spun me through a loop there. I was like, what else would it possibly be called? Anyway. So, yeah, I had my crumpets, and then I was like, okay, yummers, like, nothing else to say about that. Then I washed my face, and I used the Dettol soap bar all over my body. Well, that's a complete lie, actually. I just used it on my chest because I've been picking my chest again, of course. Like, hello, of course I've been picking my chest again. And then I got ready, and then I was like, oh, I'm a little bit peckish, so I had a little pocket, this, like, pitta with... this like homemade, I think it's tzatziki, I can't even remember, and then feta, red onion, cucumber, tomato. Oh my days, I had like 5 of them last night, because let me tell you something, they're bussin', they're so bussin'. And then my mum was like, save one for your brother, and then he came home and he didn't even have dinner, and I thought, don't piss me off. But I also thought, nice little, that was a pre-lunch lunch, because don't get me wrong, I'll be having hummus after I film this, so like that was just the starter, and the main course shall be coming, okay? But yeah, I just did that, and then I was like, okay, I should probably brush my teeth. But then I'd already opened a Dr. Pepper, and I was like, I'm not going to brush my teeth now, because then if I drink one, it's just like, it just goes against everything that's right. So I didn't, and here I am. So I'm just hoping that you can't tell, but also like, you've seen worse. Like, I have come onto this podcast before looking horrendously chop suey. Oh, that's what I was saying about what I've picked up from James. When I was in Glasgow, I went last week, I saw James. He should be coming on the podcast soon, actually, when he's back home here for Easter. But he said chop suey, he said lo genuinely, and he also said Digafistan. And each one of them just took me by surprise. He also kept doing the Nick Wilde scuba every single time. Like, I actually thought I was going to pass out from laughing. Like, I don't know why I find that so funny. There are some things that are like, just, I shouldn't laugh as much as I do at them, but I do. I can't help it. Like, I just have sometimes my humor, I'm like, oh, my humor is so advanced, and other times I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find the word Digafistan hilarious, and anyone doing like the fucking scuba, like, that is so funny to me. Also, like, in the height of 6-7, yeah, I was laughing every single time. Like, even now when my phone's on 67% battery, I'm like I'm trying to hold it in, and it's like, oh, jobs, people, employment, being I don't want to say the words mid-20s, because that feels a bit harsh to say, but time flies. Honestly, today has been 8 years since we picked up Mash as a puppy and brought him home, which those 8 years have flown by, but it also feels like he's always been part of our life, because he's just so like rooted into our lives now. He's also the weirdest fucking dog I've ever met. I've never met a dog as weird as him. And he's a little bit like me. Like, he does it for the bit. Like, he'll do things all the time that I think he knows will make us laugh. And I'm like, no one's doing it like you, Mash. Like, no one is advanced like you. And it's the truth. It is the plain and honest and simple and easy truth. He's just so ahead of the curve. Anyway, so that made me emotional this morning when I realised it also means that today has been 7 years since I got my driving licence. Right? Yeah, 7 years. Oh my God. Who let that happen? Well, they didn't want it to happen because I passed my driving test on the 3rd time, if you didn't already know. It took me 3 times to pass my theory, 3 times to pass my practical, and I've been through 3 cars. So it's all 3s, okay? Because I'm so bad in like exam settings, so I knew that I was going to do badly in my theory test, and I also just made stupid mistakes, and each time I was either like 1 off or 2 off. And it was because I knew the answer, but I just like wanted to get through it so quickly so that I just kept getting it wrong. And I was like, well, you're a fucking idiot anyway. You're a fucking idiot. And you know, when they give you the paper at the end and they're like, and you're like, oh, I'll just die. Like, it's fine. And then the first time I failed my driving test, they had to slam the brakes because apparently there wasn't room for both cars to get past. I was like, okay, I think that was a little bit premature. And then he kept making like awkward small talk with me on the way home, and I was like, well, I know I failed, so like, shut up. Like, no, boy, you're not gonna make me feel better about this. And then the second examiner I had was such a bitch. Like, he was such a fucking bitch, and I just knew that he took such great pleasure in failing people. And he was like, I feel like every driving test centre has a sort of like token like bad guy, like the one that doesn't pass anyone. And in my driving test centre, it had 2. It had a woman and a man, and I got the man. Ugh, why would a man be there? And he gave me like 11 minors, not children. I'm not a nonce. He gave me like 11 minors and like 3 majors. And I read, when he told me, I was so shocked that I'd failed. Because I was like, what do you mean I failed? He was like, I think you, and he went to me, I think you already know that you failed. And I was like, I think you already know that you're chopped. But like, what are we, like, are we just pointing out the obvious? Like, you're not pointing out anything obvious to me. You're pointing out something like shocking. Like, it's not shocking to me. Like, that, yeah, if we're going to say shocking things, I'll be like, yeah, you're leng. Because it's not the truth. But like, what do you mean? I don't know what shit I did. He told me, but I think I just wasn't listening at this point. It was also the guy that I was like kind of talking to, kind of not talking to. He had a crush on me for so long, and I was like, no, I can't be with you. Like, I literally had this coming. He started speaking to someone new, and I was so devastated. And that day was his birthday, and then I failed my test. Oh, I actually think I SH'd that day. Like, I was so depressed. And then a month later, I did my test for the 3rd time, and I passed with 3 minors. So there's that. And the guy was so nice. And when he was like, okay, congratulations, you've passed, I started crying, and he looked at me like, no, why is it always me? I said, you're so nice to me, you're so good to me. And he was like, oh, it's okay. And I was just sobbing because I was so happy. And I also really thought I'd failed because when I did my driving test, he was like, we're going to do my first driving test. I had it so easy. Apart from the route we took was really bad, but I only had to do a pull up on the left and reverse. Whereas on my other 2 tests, I had to do parallel parks. And I learned in a BMW X1, which is just a monster of a car. It's so big and just like bulky and just a bit obnoxious, but it has like rear view cameras. Sorry, putting on my blanket because I'm a little bit chilly. So you can see what you're doing in the cameras, which was just like, I went from that to a Volkswagen Up, like the most basic model of a Volkswagen Up. So I was like, this is not realistic, but like, I knew how to drive my car because I was going out with my dad and practicing. And like, that's also why I was such a nervous driver. I hated learning to drive. It made me so nervous. And also like, I just liked being in like the sort of laid back environment, and obviously like you just can't have that in a driving test or a driving lesson anyway. So he was like, okay, can you pull up and do a parallel park? I was like, can I? Yeah, of course I can. Started doing it, and then I noticed on the camera, I'm like, oh, sure, I'm about to hit the fucking curb. So I turned to him and I went, let's do that again, shall we? And he was looking at me like, I do not get paid enough. And then I did it and I passed. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Obviously, since then, we've had multiple issues. We obviously had the problem last year when someone threw some like a milkshake at my windscreen and just smashed the entire thing, because I'm guessing there was like a NOS canister in it, but I don't 100% know. I obviously have when I crashed my car and wrote it off back in 2021. That was a dark time for me. That was a very dark time for me because that was my first car, Wolfgang. I named him after my mum's old boss. And it was just, yeah, it was really difficult for me. It was like a hard thing to process. And I remember on the phone when the woman was like, okay, so we're going to write your car off. I just started sobbing. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, sorry, no. And then it was really like convenient that I had to wear black to work because I was wearing black anyway to mourn. Because I was so upset. And then I obviously got my yellow Fiat 500, which just always had problems with it. The steering, the check engine light. But I loved that car. Fiat 500s are riddled with problems, but they are so cute. And they're good to like zip around. And I can't help but love them. Looky, like. And now I'm back to another Volkswagen Up. I got this car the day that I went to see Lana Del Rey. I went to go and see this car in the morning, and then I went to see Lana Del Rey in the evening in Hyde Park. Oh my God, because I remember that day so well, because I went up to Hyde Park and I was like, oh, I'm scared I'm going to bump into my ex, who is this, basically, I was dating him, then we broke up, then we got back together, and then we broke up earlier this year. It's that ex. I was like, I'm scared I'm going to see him. And my friend of the time was like, oh, I know where he is. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to say hello to clear the air. And she was like, are you sure that's a good idea? And I was like, yeah, I think it'll be fine. And then I went over and he ignored me. And then it turned out later when we got back together, he was like, I wasn't ignoring you. I was trying to find out where our friend was. And I was also just nervous. I didn't know what to say to you. And I was like, oh, all I'm hearing is excuses. And I should have known then that it was all just going to be a load of fabricated bullshit. But I am genuinely trying not to talk about my ex-boyfriend because I think there's a hit out on me. I do genuinely think that one day I'm going to get like either like egged, slushied like they got in Glee, or just shot, because I made a video the other day being like, sometimes I get sad about my ex-boyfriend breaking up with me and then I see a picture of him and I feel better, which is like the truth. And then I said about how I saw these pictures on Instagram, and I said about the person who posted them, I said I had no beef with her, and then I may have made it worse by saying that him and his friends, who were awful to me, by the way, so there's that. I said that they live in neighbouring towns, Chop and Flop City, and then I went on Instagram and she'd removed me and unfollowed me. So I felt like maybe I should learn to shut the fuck up, but also like it's just physically impossible. Like I just don't know how to do it, but I'll try. So I'm going to try not to speak about him. Also, like, what's there left to say? Genuinely, what is there left to say? Like, I think he would know not to approach me or to try and say anything to me, because it's like, boy, I have so many screenshots and I lived through those 3 tumultuous years. So, like, don't play, like, don't piss me off, because also, like, I'm a Rottweiler, but I'm also a Chihuahua. I feel like a Rottweiler because I'll shred you to bits, but also Chihuahua because I won't give up. Like, I'm a yappy little thing that will not, like, I'll bite your ankles until you like want to kick me, and then I'll come back for more. Like, that's who I am as a person, you know? Anyway, moving on. What else was I going to say? I woke up this morning feeling really, really anxious. Awesome. I've been feeling like, and it's kind of sunny outside, it's really windy, but the sun is out. So when I'm anxious when the sun's out, I'm like, this isn't allowed, because like, I think there is technically a law saying that like you can't be sad when the sun's out, because everyone else around you is in a good mood. So you don't want to be that bitch that's like, I'm sad. I'm so sad. But I just woke up feeling a bit anxious because I was like, oh, look at the state of the world. Like, can we talk about the political climate of the world right now? No, I don't want to. I feel sick. Like, and I just think the way I try and get through these feelings is by being like, okay, I'm only going to worry about things that I can control. And so much of the stuff that I worry about are things that I can't control. Doesn't mean I stop worrying about them. But it's also kind of like Donald Trump died challenge when, like, don't, like, oh my days, I'm never being allowed into that country while there's a Republican government, but oh my god, when will he just like pop his clogs? I'm sorry, I actually, I'm not sorry, he's a fucking nonce. And when people were like, you shouldn't wish death upon someone, you shouldn't celebrate a man's death, I'm thinking, that is not a man, that is a mouldy old fruit. That is a paedophile. I'm sorry, that's a fucking paedophile. Like, I don't give a shit. And when Charlie Kirk died and everyone was on my fucking dick about it, I was like, well, a few people were on my dick about it. I was like, you think I give a fucking shit that someone that would force his daughter to keep a child if she got raped and also like loves guns is dead? Nah, bitch. I'm playing No One Mourns the Wicked and I'm celebrating. Like, I don't give a fucking shit challenge. Like, who gives a fuck? Well, apparently a lot of people. Like, oh, we're gonna name it the Charlie Kirk because this was his Starbucks order. Actually, get a life. Get a life, get a job, get a hobby, get a grip. A grip needs to be got. Because, like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm still here. I just had a drink and I'm very conscious of drinking in the microphone because I'm very aware of how awful I sound when I drink. Like, I'm such a loud drinker and it's quite scary for me because I'm scared to do it around the wrong person and then they're like, oh, you're chop suey? Like, you're chop suey. Okay. Someone is back in town. It's his birthday. Can we egg him? Well, yes. Well, yes, I'm always down to egg someone. I actually wanted to egg someone the other day, but then I didn't because, again, I'm already scared of the inevitable hit that's out on me, so I didn't. Anyway, oh my god, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Anyway, what was I going to... Oh, before I even started filming this, I was listening to Sabrina Carpenter because, oh my god, there was a time I didn't really like her. What was I smoking? I love that woman, and people trying to cancel her because she got that many people in a crowd to sing Useless in her song Manchild. Is that not testament to how useless men are? Question mark? Me thinks so. She's so stunning. She just has a lethal face card. She knows who she is. All of her songs are bops. She's so well dressed. And then I remember that she went out with Barry Keoghan. And I think to myself, sorry, I just burped. I think to myself, we all do things that we're not proud of. Or we all do things that we look back and think, what the fuck was I doing? Wait, Alexa, how old is Sabrina Carpenter? When is Alexa, when is Sabrina Carpenter's birthday? May 11th. Oh, so she'll be 27 this year. Okay, I've got to remember to send her a card. But I just think to myself, like, I was listening to Juno and then Please, Please, Please came on shuffle. And she was like, I know I have good judgment. I know I have good taste. And I was thinking, oh, you when you lie. What the hell are you talking about? Oh my god, I've got a really itchy nose. This happens every time I start filming. I'm like, oh, my nose itches. And then I'm like, oh, it looks like I'm picking it. Cool. I am obsessed with the video of Barry Keoghan saying, ciao, Valentino, ciao with these baby blue eyes. I think it's so funny. Obviously, he's spoken out about people making fun of him, which, you know, isn't great. Like, I'm not saying people should bully him, but also, like, the internet is forever. And your digital footprint is quite something. Like that video, ciao Valentino, ciao with these baby blue eyes, like I'm obsessed with that video. I'm obsessed with it. And it's the haircut as well. I think obviously the Beatles haircut isn't doing him a huge favour, and I just feel like he looks like he's had botched plastic surgery. And it's also like that in itself is just a whole other thing. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Like, let these people age normally. Like, Cillian Murphy, I don't think he's had any work done. I genuinely think he is one of the longest people alive. He's aged so well. And the other day, okay, oh my days, this is awful. The other day I went to see Inception for the first time. I'd never seen it before, but my cinema was showing loads of films that Leonardo DiCaprio has done, and obviously he was in Inception. So we go and see it. And I've seen clips of Cillian Murphy from that film, but I've never seen it before. When he came on stage, I wish, oh my god, I would have been up there like a fucking... Anyway, when he came on screen, me and Laura looked at each other and we were like, oh my god. When I tell you that the cinema probably could have done with a water vacuum for my chair after. I'm sorry. That is foul. Okay, that's vengeance most foul, but like, that is the truth. Like, he looked so good in that fucking film with that stupid slutty little American accent, and I thought to myself, you are not real. And the way he speaks about his wife, and he just seems to like, I really like the fact that he seems to enjoy acting, but he absolutely despises being a celebrity. Like the clip of him being like, oh, my phone screen is black because like what else is it supposed to be? Like no one is doing it like him. Like he is just stunning. Like of course he's Irish, he's too good to be anything else. Like I adore him. And I just think, you know, I haven't seen the Peaky Blinders film because I have not watched past like season 1 of the Peaky Blinders, because I remember Lara said to me that Adrian Brody was in Peaky Blinders, and I was like, no, you're lying to me. And she was like, no, he was one of the villains. And I was like, no, you're lying to me. She was like, no, he was one of the villains. And I was like, I'm not gonna say, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, what was that about? Okay, I was like, I'm not going to say it again because I know that you're not lying to me, but what the fuck? The concept of Adrian Brody being in the BBC drama Peaky Blinders. It's BBC, right? I doubt it's anything. It's not going to be fucking ITV, is it? But the concept of that, it's just too much for me to like even fathom. But it's interesting because it makes me laugh when movie stars act as if being in TV is such a bad thing. I'm looking at you, Timothée Chalamet. This is also me finding out that Timothée Chalamet and apparently Kylie Jenner have this deal to get married by the end of the year, and it's like an $100 million deal, and their wedding has to be televised. Oh my god, get up. Like, get up, get a grip. What is wrong with people? Like, that to me just sounds like hell. Like, oh my god, your fucking relationship is a publicity stunt, is it not? For $100 million. Like, you're a sellout, bro. You're a fucking sellout. That's so embarrassing to me. That's so embarrassing. And then I saw that article she did being like, oh, she didn't do it. Of course you fucking didn't. But like, oh, I want to be an actress because being an influencer is too hard. You're a billionaire. Shut the fuck up. Also, you've got iPhone face. Also, I don't care what she does. I don't care how much makeup they put on her. I will never not be able to recognize her as Kylie Jenner. So I'm just going to be like, oh, you're Kylie Jenner playing someone else. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that sounds like a bitch. Well, I don't give a fuck if it is. I just don't like her. But I just, oh my God, I just don't get it. And, like, people's obsession with the Kardashians, I think, is quite scary because they just seem like awful people to me. Like, they're all MAGA. And I think they're all Zionists as well. And it's like, wow, you guys aren't even, like, fully American. Like, where's Kim Kardashian from? Like, her dad was, like, Armenian? I can't even remember, but it's like, you should not be on the side of the Republicans, but of course you will be because, well, you're fucking awful. I don't know. There's nothing else to it for me, but I just found that insane and also just like, just dumb. I just find it, oh my God, it's like, oh, grow up, get a grip. A grip needs to be gotten. Oh my God. And like, obviously, oh my God, sorry, I can't get comfortable for the life of me. Obviously, the whole thing about the opera and the ballet came out, and then he lost the Oscar, which, yes, I celebrated, which is so funny because I used to be the biggest Timothée Chalamet fan ever. Like, ever. I loved him. I thought he was just, like, fantastic. I thought he was a fantastic performer. I still think he's a good performer. I don't think there's any, like, change in that. But I just think he's so repulsive as a person. Like, everything he says, I'm like, even if this is an act, I don't give a fuck because this is how you're coming across. Like, you can't expect people to just assume that you're joking or, like, whatever. And then that clip of Matthew McConaughey being like, your girlfriend, like, he never addresses her by name. Your girlfriend got you a screening of Interstellar for your birthday. What, where you were, like, 15 and you had, like, 10 minutes of screen time in that whole film? Okay. And it's like, you can see the clear shift. He's gone from trying to appeal to like women with like Lady Bird and Little Women and Call Me by Your Name, to men, which was like Marty Supreme, Dune, and obviously being in a Christopher Nolan film, you know, the worst men you know will be like Christopher Nolan stans. And I'm saying that as a Christopher Nolan fan because I think he has great vision and I think he's a fantastic director. But like, you know, it's the same as like how the worst man you know is like a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino, who is one of the worst men. I think he's a good director. Do I think he's a good person? No, the fuck I don't. I also think you need to get therapy for the way you feel about about feet. Not just your feet, anyone's feet. Watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's a good film. I like that film. Oh my god, it's like, wow, if I got like gushy gushy by watching feet, oh my god, I would have had to leave the screening to like grab a vibrator. Oh my god, me posting to my close friend's story the other day that the new film, I can't even remember who's directing it. I can't remember if it's the guy that does Dune, which Denis Villeneuve, I can't remember how you say it. I can't remember if it's him or another director, but they're doing a film based in a prison with Daniel Craig and Cillian Murphy starring in it. And I literally put on my close friend's story, like, my vibrator is coming with me. What the fuck do you mean those two in it? That's a big two. Put me in there. That's a big three. Come on now. Are you lying? Anyway, sorry. That's getting a bit crazy, but it's the truth. It is the truth. I need to calm down. Like, God. Ever since I've been single, like, I'm playing Hinge in real life and I'm playing Hinge with celebrities. And also, like, I am that sort of delusional person that's like, oh, I think I could pull any celebrity if, like, I met them. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I do think I could pull Harry Styles. Go. Also, I really didn't like his album when it first came out. I thought that the new album was a bit meh. Then I listened to it properly and I realised I was wrong. Okay, there's a first time for everything. My favourites on that album are Taste Back, Dance No More, and American Girls. I have the CD of it, so I've been listening to it in my car on CD, feeling very retro, feeling very let's regress back to physical media. I've actually been buying a lot of CDs recently. I've got Art Pop by Lady Gaga, obviously the new Harry Styles CD. I've got Amy Winehouse's CDs, obviously. I have Flow Rider. No, I don't. Sorry, I have CeeLo Green. And the other day I was walking my dog, plural, singular even, singular, Mash, because Banjo had like chased a deer and then he had limp. And so I was walking Mash and I was with Tilly, my cousin, and we walked past this bush and there was an Alexandra Burke CD just sat on this bush, and I was like, oh my god, this is meant to be, because I've been listening to CDs and I love Alexandra Burke. Yeah, the bad boys. And what's the other one? We can do it even better in broken heels. Anything you can do, I can do better. That is literally me. So I couldn't believe it. And it was like, it had a tag on it from a charity shop saying 50p, and I was thinking, wow, I've saved myself 50p, because every little helps, because I'm broke as fuck recently. I went to Scotland last week and oh my shart, I spent so much money because I got a little bit drunk on St. Patrick's Day, like, because oh my god, do not let alcohol touch my lips, because I'm pretty bad in terms of just saying anything when I'm sober, but when I'm drunk, yikes, like, no one's safe. We went to this like bar. We went to a pub, an Irish pub. We tried a Guinness. We tried 1 pint of Guinness between the three of us, me, Sophie and James. And I was like, this shit tastes awful. Like, I'm really, really, really sorry. And I know that people were very territorial and protective over Guinness, which, okay, like, whatever. Like, if you're Irish, I get it, because that's your heritage. But, like, if you're just a random guy being like, Guinness is the best, just leave me alone, okay? Just don't talk to me, bro. But, anyway, no, I'm not saying it. Anyway, so I tried it. I was like, oh, it's very like bready. It's very heavy. And I just didn't fuck with it, okay? And I'm really sorry, because like I said, I know people love it, but whatever. So then we went to this bar, and at the bar oh my god. Okay, let me set the scene for you and you'll kind of get how I have saying thingitis. We're at the bar and we're looking at this menu because they have some cool, like, oh my god, it's hailing outside. It's literally hailing island outside. What the fuck? I actually don't have the words, okay? So we're at the bar. They have this menu, and it's quite a cool menu because it's got like loads of different types of cocktails that are a bit like out there, a bit crazy, you know, stuff I've never heard of before. And I'm just looking like, do they have a Cosmo? Come on, I want a Cosmopolitan. Like, I am Carrie Bradshaw. I would like a Cosmopolitan, please. They don't have a Cosmopolitan. I'm looking at it for ages. Every single cocktail, I'm like, I'm not gonna like that. I'm not gonna like that. Why has it got beetroot extract in it? Like, I'm not gonna like that. Da 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 da. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have a vodka cranberry. So I say that to the guy, and then I make a joke to James, being like, oh, all that just to order that in the end. And the guy behind the bar goes to me, I wasn't gonna say anything, but, and I sort of looked over and I was like, oh, who is you? And so immediately I said, is it my accent? Because every time I get like roasted in Scotland, it's because of my accent. And he laughed and he was like, maybe. And I said, okay, whatever. And so James and Sophie were like, he wants you. And I was like, No, surely not. Anyway, he finally gives us our drinks. I'm like, okay, thank you. We go sit down. We have our drinks. Then me and Sophie are like, let's get a shot. Okay, I don't know what possessed me. By the way, this is a Wednesday night. We're like, let's get a shot. So we get a shot. We do the shot. No, okay, no. We go to the bar, and Sophie asks the man behind the bar. Now, this is a different man, but so man number one, who served me at the beginning, he's stood there listening with this woman who works there as well. There's 4 people behind the bar, and the bar is not that busy, so I don't know, like, if this was here, like any of my workplaces, they could have sniffed that it's not that busy, and they would be like, yeah, go home. Go home, go home, go home, go home, go home, go home. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't need money or anything, but whatever. So they're stood behind the bar. Man number 2 comes up to me and Sophie. Sophie says, do you do shots? The man says, no. I'm thinking, what? And then he goes, we do them, but I don't like them. No, okay, oh my God, me when I can't tell the story properly. Sophie goes, oh, so you don't even do baby Guinnesses? He went, we do them, but I don't like them. No hesitation. I go, what's that got to do with me? Oh my God, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? Why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? And the man looks at me and I'm like, I said, why are you making that my problem? And the first man and the woman are stood there laughing. And Sophie went, can you not just do a baby Guinness for me? And he was like, yeah, I guess I can. And I was like, come on now, Sophie. He makes a baby Guinness. And I literally was just stood there. I was so confused. So we took them back to the table. We did the baby Guinnesses. And then I went back up to the bar after to get another vodka cranberry. The second guy who did the shots for us came over to me. And he said, what can I get you? And I said, can I get a vodka cranberry? And he said, yes. He went, and can I just clarify that when your friend asked me, do you do shots? I thought she asked, do you like shots? And I said, and you said no. He went, yeah. I said, again, say anything I just. I went, oh, do you hate fun? He went, no. I was like, but you don't like shots? He was like, no, they're not my thing. I said, no shot at all. He was like, maybe a whiskey. And I went, how old are you? 50? And he went to me, I'm old enough. What did he say? I was like, okay. And so then I was like, all right. And I said to him, I was like, we got a baby Guinness because it's topical. I was like, it's St. Patrick's Day. He was like, yeah, I guess so. And I said to him, like, oh, I tried a Guinness tonight, but I really didn't like it. And he went, that's my favourite pint. And I said, you're a man with a moustache. Of course it is. And I walked off. Because I'm an awful person. But it really tickled me because I thought, yeah, you got him there. Like, you got. And then I kept going up to the bar after, like, to get more drinks. And each time, it was just, like, the first guy came and served me and Sophie. And he was like, what can I get you? And then me and Sophie both went silent, thinking the other person was going to say, can we get 2 more vodka cranberries? And we started laughing. And Sophie was like, sorry, I thought you were going to speak. And so he starts laughing. And again, without hesitation, I go, what are you laughing at? And, like, it's good when people take it as a joke and, like, they think it's funny and they kind of, like, no, it's a bit, like, not serious. Because if you took that seriously, you would just think I'm extremely fucking rude, which maybe it comes across that way, but, like, that's not my fucking problem. Like, learn humor. Like, don't make this my problem. Again, like, that guy, I said, what's that got to do with me? I literally said to the guy, I was like, is that not your job? And I did not mean that in a, like, this is your job. Because I said to him, I was like, look, I've been asked at my old jobs in restaurants for cutlery before, and I've said no and walked off. I said, I know how you feel. I was like, you just took me by surprise, that's all. So I spent, I think, a majority of my money in that bar because I was just doing anything, like, do anything itis. Because I literally, when we were there, I only bought a tank top from Primark, which was like £3.50, and an SPF for my face, which was like £6. And then the rest of everything I bought was just like food or drink. And I spent, I think, like £200 in less than 4 days. Like, that's not normal. That's not even remotely normal, in my opinion. But I did it anyway, didn't I? Of course I fucking did. It's just awful. Awful. And then, oh my God, okay, this is where the tea comes in, right? Let me just make sure I have not missed anything. Oh, okay, this kind of, these all kind of, like, merge into one another. So I was coming back from, oh God, I was coming back from Glasgow. And while I was in Glasgow, I've been conversing with someone over the phone. I guess you could like the formal name for it is sexting, because like now I'm single, I'm like, wow, you can just do that, and like it's like no consequence, because like you're just kind of having fun, and like you're both just there a bit like H word, and yeah, whatever. And so this is awful. I'm speaking to this guy, and we're on the train home, and I'm like, okay, why don't I come like meet up with you tonight? This is after a 5.5 hour train journey. No longer. Maybe 6 hour. 6 hours on a train, and then a tube, and then another train, okay? I say, like, I can come down and see you tonight. Okay. What's so funny about this is when my ex-boyfriend broke up with me, I said that I would never go back to Brighton again. I was like, if I never see Brighton again, it will be too soon. Where did I drive to? Brighton. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Anyway, I'm speaking to this man. We met initially through Tinder. Oh god, it actually just, it doesn't even feel real to say any of these words out loud, but we did. But what's funny about this is that he actually knows someone I know. So I didn't know him, but we kind of have a mutual between us, so it made it a bit less like awkward of meeting him for the first time, because I was like, oh, I know that you know someone else, like you're not just like a complete stranger. So I'm like, oh, why don't I come there tonight? We meet up that night. And Sophie was like, you're going tonight? Like, after? And I was like, yeah, I'm so tired, but like, I'll be fine. And so I slept with someone, which is huge news for me. Like, this was huge in the news the next day. Like, news alert, I slept with someone for the first time after my breakup, which I was so nervous to do, because I was like, what if I've not got it anymore? Because I feel like I was basically a nun for 3 years, because my relationship with sex while I was in a relationship was extremely complex and just not straightforward in the slightest. Like, I really, really didn't know what I was doing, and I was kind of just like, what the fuck is going on? So if anything, to me, sleeping with someone was like, okay, let's see if I actually am asexual, or if I can, like, you know, get it up metaphorically, my lady boner. And I could, and it was fun. Without giving, I'm so scared someone stood right outside my door, without giving away too much of all the details that I don't want to bring up again. But I had fun. It was very like easy. It didn't feel like forced. I didn't feel, and I think the main thing that I'm like happiest about was that I didn't feel like I'd rushed into it, because obviously I was supposed to go on a date, not the last one, the one before, like on Valentine's Day, with the guy from Hinge, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this at all. Like, I really thought I was ready to meet someone, but like in my brain I was like, no, I'm not ready to meet anyone. And I also just know what I'm like as a person. I'll like meet someone and I'll convince myself that I like them, even if I don't. Oh my god, why the fuck is it hailing? It's like fucking tipping it down. This is just not normal. Like, hailstones. Like, let's not even be stupid right now. What are we doing? Oh god, I can't actually be asked. Anyway, and so I was a bit like nervous going into it, because I was like, oh, what if I'm not ready? But I felt completely fine. And then the next day, but I'll tell you something, girls, sleeping next to another person, like, when I told people the next day that I was so tired, because when I tell you, I don't even think I slept an hour from 2 a.m. till 10:30, so 8.5 hours. I don't think I slept a full hour. And when you tell people that, they're like, oh, you know, what were you doing all night? And it was like, no, he was asleep. I couldn't sleep. My body would not sit still. I kept moving about. I kept fidgeting. At one point, he even said to me as well, he was like, do you ever sleep? And I was like, okay. Like, hashtag shut the fuck up. But I was like, I don't know. But like, I think I was so nervous, because I was like, this is so new for me. Like, obviously, it's been 3 years. Well, actually, I slept with someone when me and my ex-boyfriend broke up. And then between us breaking up and getting back together, like, I saw other people. And so did he. So, but like, it's obviously been a long time since that happened, so I just feel like I wasn't sure if I'd remember, like, just how to, like, go and meet someone and then sleep with them and then, like, come away. And also I was very much like, oh, like, my mind always tricks me into thinking that I'm going to have feelings for this person, and then like I have to navigate that. But my brain hasn't done that to me this time, and I'm very, very grateful, because I don't need that. I don't need that, and I do not want that. Like, I want to be single. I want to have fun. Like, girls literally just want to have fun. I've heard it before, and I'm going to agree with that statement. They do just want to have fun, because I want to have fun and not have a boyfriend, because that to me isn't fun. Not from my experience anyway. Having a boyfriend is actually the most stressful, like, just traumatic experience ever. That has been my experience. Every time I've been with a man, I'm like, this is just awful. Like, I'm so stressed. I wake up stressed. I wake up sick as a dog. I wake up feeling like shit all the time. Whereas now I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, no one to bother me, no one to harass me, no one to piss me off. Lucky me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I can't wait. But yeah, that happened. And then the next day I had a nap. That was the day I went to see Inception, and I was watching Inception, and I was like, I wanted to see what was happening because I was interested, but I did not understand it at all. But I was like, I'm interested. And then every so often I was like, see, I'm yawning right now. I was like, you need to stay awake. You need to stay awake. You need to stay awake, because I was so fucking tired. Like, girls, when I tell you I was so tired, I was so tired. And then I had a good night's... Did I have a good night's sleep that night? Oh, well, I had a somewhat good night's sleep. I had a night's sleep, if nothing else. And then, honestly, like, since then I feel like I've been playing catch up. But the next day I went to go and get a morning after pill, just to make sure, to cover any bases. But now, like, I'm just convinced that I'm pregnant, which I do not want that at all. I said to my mum this morning, I was like, if I was to have a baby at this point, I think it would just be like if I had a one night stand and then accidentally got pregnant and I just kept it and I would raise it alone. I was like, because I think that's the way I'd want to do it. And my mum was like, no. She was like, I would not be happy if you did that. And I was like, why? And she was like, it's not fair on the baby. Like, it wouldn't know its dad. And I was like, but look at me. I was like, I am enough fun to be both parents. And I'm like caring enough to be both. I was like, and what does the dad really do? My dad was sat right there. She was like, financially, you're going to need a partner. And I was like, what if I just got like support money from him? But I was like, just don't come near me. She was like, no. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm not, because I took a morning after pill. Please. I can't deal with it. And just like, honestly, now, every single thing that I feel, I'm like, is this an early sign? Is this an early sign? Like, my eye was twitching earlier and I was like, oh, twitching eye, early pregnancy sign? Sore throat, early pregnancy sign, because I had a really sore throat for the past few days. But it's because my parents have both had COVID. My dad has it so badly that he can't stop coughing, and the other day he coughed so hard that he had a nosebleed and he filled up a whole bucket full of blood and he had to go to A&E. It's just like, oh well, it's never like a dull day here. My mum was obviously just like absolutely like bedbound for ages. All she could do was sleep. And then yesterday she was like, maybe you've got COVID. And I was like, no, like, no, because I've had it 3 times, so 4 times just feels like a little bit ridiculous and just a bit like, oh, let's not even be fucking stupid right now. Like, no, I don't have it. I was like, let me have a honey and lemon and go about my day. Like, let's just do that. Let's take a silly one. Like, we're not doing this. We're not like, no. So yeah, now I'm just like freaking out, but I know that I'm being stupid. And also yesterday as well, I got such a bad stomach ache. Girls, don't even ask me where it came from, but I was like, what if I'm starting my period? But that would be 7 days early, and my last period was 7 days early, and I don't feel like my period will come this early. But then again, I guess the morning after pill can kind of fuck you up because it can make you like early or late. So like it could be that. Also, yesterday I had my first ever smear test, so it could also be the fact that obviously my cervix was being a bit like, you know, fiddled with, I suppose. So I was like, maybe it's that, but I had to have a hot water bottle. I was sat there like, oh, my tummy hurts. And I never really know how to deal with a tummy ache, because most of the time when I have an upset stomach, I just shit myself, basically. But this time I was like, oh, I just have like pain and kind of cramps. And I was like, maybe it's from like my bra, but I couldn't really tell. So yeah, yesterday was so bad. I was supposed to film a podcast yesterday because I was like, oh, I'll be working with my dad today, but my dad has not been at work all of this week, which means I haven't been able to work. So I'm so broke. Like, I've got no money coming in. Like, actually, a brand messaged me the other day. Well, emailed me. I said the other day, they emailed me and I didn't see it for 10 days because I never check my emails, because I always just assume that no brand has messaged me because I don't feel like any brand would want to work with me. But apparently one does. And they emailed me as if I had a manager. They were emailing like as if they were speaking to my manager that doesn't exist. And I emailed back. I was like, hey, Maisie here. Hey. I was like, oh. And I feel like I emailed back too late because I haven't heard from them since. Lol, which is my own fault. But I'm just like, I just don't see myself as like, not even brand friendly, but I just feel like they want someone that's more palatable and like will just be like, yeah, I love this, and not like ask any questions, whereas I'm going to be like, well, I want to try the product first and I want to know that I like it, and then I will then I'll like promote it if I actually enjoy it. Like, I wouldn't promote something I don't enjoy. Girls, don't fear, okay? No amount of money could make me promote something I don't like. No amount of money could make me promote AI. No amount of money could make me promote like any form of right-wing propaganda. Like, do not fear, I will never change in terms of, oh my god, imagine I just blew up and I was like, okay, everyone order these skinny teas and teeth whitening strips. Everyone vote for me on Love Island now. Oh my god, who remembers when I applied for Love Island? I actually don't know if I've really spoken about this properly, but I applied for Love Island back in 2022. Maybe they didn't hire me because I was like, oh, I'm a waitress. Hire, take me on. And I also was like, I think I had, this sounds horrible, but I think I had too much personality. Like, I know all of the girls on Love Island have a personality, but I just feel like mine isn't like the right personality for Love Island. And the only reason I applied was because all my friends were like, I think you could win it, but I think you could win it alone. And I was like, I guess that kind of goes against the whole premise of like Love Island. But I was saying the other day, like, I could not go on Love Island because if I came out of the villa and I saw people were saying like such awful things about me, like people do on like Twitter and whatever, I don't know if I'd live to see another day. And like, that's not something we want to really think about because like I've been there before. I was literally thinking like the only TV show I think I could do is Big Brother, but I also think I would make a lot of enemies because if I met someone in Big Brother and I didn't like them and then we were stuck in the house together, like it just wouldn't go down well for anyone. So it's like, ooh, maybe not. And I watched, oh my god, so when I was in Glasgow, when I get James on the podcast, we'll speak in depth about the things that happened in Glasgow because, oh my god, it was just not real. But when I was in Glasgow, they only had we were in a premiere and they only had Freeview TV. So each night me and James were watching something, and Sophie as well, but bless Sophie, she was always so tired. And like, I feel awful for Sophie because she always felt ill and she always like had a stomachache or something, and I felt so bad because she was always having to take like paracetamol and water, and we were going out doing things, and I said to her, I was like, are you okay? Like, I feel bad. And she was like, no, I'll be fine. And I was like, you are actually one of God's strongest. I love that girl to death. Anyway, so Sophie was like on her side of the bed falling asleep. Me and James were sat there and we were like, what should we watch? We watched Made in Chelsea the first night. It's like a new season. James just fell in love with Chugs. Is that his name? Yeah, Chugs. He just fell in love with Chugs. So then the next night it was St. Patrick's Day, and he was like, we have to go home in time for Made in Chelsea. Oh wait, St. Patrick's Day was a Tuesday. Sorry, I said it was a Wednesday. It was a Tuesday. He was like, we have to be home in time for Made in Chelsea. Like, I don't even care. We have to be home. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Wait, was St. Patrick's Day a Tuesday or a Wednesday? It was a Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, I'm like not with it. So we got home for Made in Chelsea. We watched Made in Chelsea again, like classic, okay? And then on the Wednesday, it was our last night, and we were like, okay, let's watch Made in Chelsea, and they didn't have it on, and all that was on was Married at First Sight Australia. So we watched that. Oh my god, I've never seen a show that's that awful, like to the point where I was like, how is this allowed? But also is so entertaining, which is why reality TV and TV shows like that, I just don't understand how they're allowed to make them, because yes, they are so entertaining and obviously people lap them up like, hello, I was sat there watching it, but also like the stuff that the contestants say is just awful. And like the men that they find, I feel like they must have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find these men, because some of them were just so awful. Like one of them was like, my biggest turn-offs are fat people, needy girls and fake tan, and he was married to this stunning model, and she was like watching it and being like, oh my fucking god, like who the fuck did I marry? Part 1. Like, what the fuck? this other guy married a woman who had a baby or baby, she was 8, the kid was 8, but obviously like the producers knew, and they knew like both of their audition tapes, put them together, they got married. The man said he was fine with having a child with her, like co-parenting their child. I say co-parenting, like helping raise that child basically. And then in his audition tape he was like, fuck having a kid, like I've got all the time and freedom and money in the world, like why would I want to pay for school fees? And then the woman watches it back on her own and she was like, oh, so you lied. And they were like the strongest couple in the show at that point, and everything just exploded. And we were sat there watching it like, who the fuck are these people? Like, where do they find them? It's genuinely terrifying. Like, I was watching it and I'm thinking, like, I couldn't do that. Like, I could not marry someone that I haven't seen or spoken to before, because like, knowing my luck, I would get married to someone that was like Dubai AI using, like goes to the horse races, is racist, reform voter, fake teeth, like gelled hair, fucking sunbed user, like Under Armour peach shirt, like I'm sorry, like that, like awful sleeves. And like, if you have sleeves of tattoos and you wear Under Armour and you have veneers, I'm not saying it automatically makes you a racist, but like there are so many turn-offs for me now that I'm like, I'm so picky. Like, if I see in someone's pictures when I had Hinge, which I literally reposted today, that like life may be hard but I will never repost Hinge again. Repost, re-download. But like, if I see a man at horse races, it's immediately no. If I see a man in Dubai, it's immediately no. If I see a man, like, I just don't know. But then I say that, and then that gym skin guy on TikTok, you know, that's one like, oh, follow that tune. He is sexy, and he is not my normal type at all. Like, I wouldn't even dream of going for a man like that. Like, if I see one out in public, I'm like, oh, I'm scared of you. He just seems like the nicest fucking guy, so empathetic, willing to give anyone a chance, really chatty, just lovely guy. Like, the way he speaks about women, the way he spoke about, I think he spoke about the Louis Theroux documentary, and I was like, oh yeah, you'd get it. And I think he's really handsome as well. Like, he's just really funny. Like, I don't even know what it is. And now I get clips of him all the time. And then I saw clips of him in a club where like so many women were approaching him, and he looked so happy. It really made me laugh. Anyway, so yeah, I can't even remember where we came from with this. Oh, about Married at First Sight. I could literally never do that show. I actually only think I could do Big Brother, but even then I think I would come out, and then if I read what people would say about me, and I would, like, I'm not even one of those people that's like, oh, I won't look, like what I don't know can't hurt me. I would look. I would actively look for awful comments about myself, and it's like, I don't need to do that. Like, I am fighting my own demons in my own brain most days, so like I can do this on my own. I can do this on my own. But yeah, I'm basically a new woman at the moment, because obviously I got my hair done, and like I said, I got my smear test done yesterday, which, oh, child, I'm so excited about, because I was so excited when I got the notification saying that I could go and get it, and I booked it immediately so that when I was back from Glasgow I could go and get it. And it was so straightforward, girls. I made a whole vlog on my TikTok, and I posted it on Instagram as well, talking about like what happens during your smear, why your smear is important. And honestly, I could not push enough. Like, I know I'm literally speaking about it on every single socials that I have, and maybe you're like, oh my god, I'm so sick of you talking about it. But also, like, this is the sort of thing that I want to influence people to do. I want to influence people to get their fucking library card, and I want to influence people to have empathy, and I also want to influence people to take care of themselves and utilize services like smear tests to get tested, to get screened, and find out that everything's okay. The nurse that I had said that the first case she had in 11 years was last year, when someone had cervical cancer, and it was because her tests came back saying that she needed a follow-up smear test in 12 months. She put off doing it, and then the HPV cells that she had turned cancerous. And it's just not worth it. I know someone that's died of cervical cancer. It's just, I don't play. Obviously, my health anxiety is bad anyway, so I don't play. But I was literally telling the nurse, I was like, I've been posting about my smear test non-stop, trying to get people to go and book it. And she was like, that's exactly what we need. And when she did it, I was like, oh, is that it? And she was like, yeah, that's it. Like, it's so straightforward. And I was like, people have definitely been fear-mongering that, because what the hell? Guys, come on. Like, I know that, girls, I know everyone has different pain tolerances, and obviously, like, maybe I'm like me being so excited to get it done probably overshadowed any nervousness that I would probably normally have. But like, it is just this little duck bill sort of contraption, and it just opens up your vagina, and then they just swab your cervix, and then it's done. I have a really low cervix. If you wanted to know, there's a little tidbit of information for you. But it was so straightforward, and I really just, I'm glad it's done. I now have to wait like 2 weeks for the results, and then if they're negative, then I don't have to worry for another 5 years. If they come back positive, then I have to do a smear test in another 12 months. And if it comes back abnormal, they like book a hospital appointment for you to have your cervix seen, and then they can do like a biopsy and whatever, just to make sure that everything's fine. And then obviously there's like steps to take from there. So touch wood, everything is fine. But I'm the only way I was going to find out was from having this test, and I feel good. Hopefully I've passed it. Hopefully, to make up for all the tests I didn't pass in school. But yeah, sometimes I think about going back to uni, and I'm like, oh, should I just go and do like a degree? And then I think, no, no, like you're gonna graduate when you're 30. Is that what's gonna? Oh, I thought I was turning 26 this year for a second. I was like, oh, I'm so scared. I've actually been actively worrying about my birthday recently, and my mum was like, shut up. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm just scared. Oh my God. Okay, actually, I'm going to leave you with this because I can't believe I've been speaking for almost an hour, but also like time flies when you literally can't shut the fuck up. And I'm going to the library after this. Yeah. I'm so excited. I have a book to pick up, and I also have a book to take back because I have not been on my reading shit this month, girls. I set the task of reading 7 books in March, and I've read 3 so far. At the moment, I'm reading Paloma Faith's MILF, which is quite good so far, talking about motherhood. But I need to get back on my reading shit. It's because I've been on dating apps this month, and obviously now I've deleted them, but like they were really distracting me, so I need to get back on my reading shit. Also, when I'm working with my dad, I read a lot, but I have a couple of short books that I might try and read to like get through a few in March to get me back in the groove. Into the groove. Follow that tune. But yeah, I'm going to the library after this. I'm so excited. And then later I'm going to see Alan, which feel like I haven't seen him in ages. We're going to watch Eyes Wide Shut. I need to get some snacks for the film because Bello can't watch a film without snacks. Anyway, the other day we were talking about sex, me, my mum and dad. Not even sex, I think we were talking about the smear test, and I was speaking about like having a baby or something. I can't even remember. And then my mum was talking to me about when I first learnt about sex education in school, and I'd come home from school and we were sat at the dinner table, and I told my mum, I was like, oh, I think we were talking about why smear tests are more uncomfortable for women in menopause, and then how like sex can be uncomfortable, all the rest. And then I said to her something, and she was like, she said to me as a joke, I hope it was a joke, she was like, well, I haven't had sex in 24 years or 24 and a half years because that's how old you are. And then my dad was like, oh, we've made a joke about like that before when you learnt about sex education. So apparently I came home from school, I was sat at the table with my parents, and I said to my mum, I learnt about sex education at work. Hello? Yeah, just at my shift. Logo, you were not doing that. I was like, I learnt about sex education at school today, and my dad goes to get up, so my mum pins his wrist down to the table or something, and she was like, stay there. And my mum was like, oh, okay. So like, what did you find out? And my mum can't really remember what she used to tell me when I was little, but she said something about like men having seeds and women having something else, and I guess like kind of like a plant growing, I suppose that's like the sort of route she was going down. And I made a comment being like, well, I know that men don't have seeds. And my mum was like, okay. And apparently I was like, I know that men have sperm and women have eggs. And my mum was like, okay. And she was like, she as in like, how old was I in year 5? Like 10 or 11, I can't even remember. And I was like, I know that you have to have sex to have a baby. And my mum was like, okay. And at this point again, my dad tried to get up, and again my mum was like, you are not leaving me here to deal with this. So my mum was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, that's what you have to do. And so I said, like, I'm sorry, but I've always been funny. I go to my mum, so that means you've only had sex 3 times, right? And my mum went, yep, you're right. And I went, for you. Okay, comedy genius. Like, okay, like, why was I having that physical reaction when I actually did not even, like, even after sex education, I did not understand what having sex actually was or meant. I actually still don't think I understand it now, because what the fuck. But like back then, all I knew was about like the egg and the sperm finding each other. That's all I knew. That's all I thought sex was. I didn't know about men that like want you to dress up as a nurse or a police officer or piss on them. I didn't know any of that. Obviously that's not like strictly related to getting pregnant, but I didn't know anything like that. And so why was I so concerned about my parents only having sex 3 times? And then to go, for you? Okay. What I'm hearing is I've always been the same. That sort of is like insane. Like I've always been the most dramatic person I've ever known. Like never forget me crying in the mirror when I was 9 years old and telling myself how ugly I looked, or when I milked like cracking my head open in year 1 and someone was like, does it hurt? And I was like, oh, it was so terrible. And I remember I stood on the toilet in the downstairs bathroom, and I stood on hello, I just literally said that. I stood on the toilet and I cried while I looked at myself in the mirror with the bandage, like keeping my head together. Maybe that's where it all went wrong, when I cracked my head open. Or actually sometimes I just think that maybe I was sort of like an experiment gone wrong. Like, I'm surprised that I wasn't made in a cup. Well, I don't know if I wasn't. I think my mum like had me naturally. Well, yeah, she's never said otherwise. She's only ever had sex 3 times. Fucking Virgin Mary over there. Totally a virgin. I should get her this top. And on that note, it has been bloody lovely to speak to you all again. This is actually coming out on the day that I'm filming it, because I've been lazy at the moment. Obviously, I've been busy as well. Just dodging getting COVID. Maybe I have it, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I don't think I do. I think I just had a sore throat. Who knows though? I guess we'll find out. But I just don't have it in me to be ill. I literally said, I was like, I can't be ill before my hair appointment. After it, like, whatever. But also, I would rather not, because I need to work. Because I've got pills. Pills? No, I don't. I've got bills that I need to pay. Phone bill. Nails. Cinema. You know, all the essentials. I actually would not cope if I moved out. I wouldn't. I truly wouldn't. Anyway, nice to see you all. Speak to you all. Thank you for watching or listening if you did either of those, or if maybe you did both. Honestly, if you're thinking about just listening to this, maybe just like look quickly on the video version for the visual, because my hair does look fantastic. Also, someone commented on my video the other day being like, you would really suit being brunette. And I was like, no. And then someone else replied, I agree. And I was thinking, my whole life is a lie. Well, yeah. So, cool. Okay, awesome. Right. Yeah. Okay. Never know how to end these, and I always feel so awkward. For you. Okay. Bye!